Today's the day 2 of our AWS DevOps. In our last session, we just started with getting started with the day 1.
Keshav, as you said, I try to download all the part you said, but when I'm doing the GitLab user ID creation, I'm getting an ask like 4 options for project or for group or something. So what really I need to select among them for the GitLab user ID creation?
If I understood correct, you went to the gitlab.com and you clicked on register now.
Yes.
Let me go there. You clicked on register now. Then
yeah, I use Google.
For example, I'm just coming to you. Let's say, for example, username. You can go with your desired username, but that should be available or not. For example, I'm trying to go with this particular username. It says it's not available. So you have to go with some desired username. For example, like this. It's available.
Sure.
Then
the part is already done. I used Google name to use the account creation. After the account creation, the next screen will be the license agreement. After that, it should be it showed me 4 options like group creation, project creation or something. So I am not sure which one I need to select among that. So that is where I got stuck.
Have you logged into the GitLab? Have you logged into the GitLab?
Not now, Keshav. You want me to log in?
No. I'm asking. You created account with it.
Yes.
After that, you see these 3 options.
Yeah, new project, new group.
Okay. On your dashboard, you see all these 3. I asked you everybody to create only account with GitLab, not to create any resource here.
Yeah, I haven't done that. Only
no need that. Yeah. So your question is that you see these 4 menus on your dashboard, and you're asking what to do now. Is that your question?
Yes. Which one I need to select?
If like this, you see a page similar like this.
Yes, right.
So you don't need to create anything now.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll guide you what to do.
Sure, Keshav. Because after that, I tried to search. I'm not sure which option I need to search, so I just left it as it is. So sort of checking with you before I do anything.
Yeah. Everybody don't do anything after creating a GitLab account. Just create and log into the GitLab, and the top right corner you see your username, and whenever I ask username, you have to just provide me. Any other questions, anybody, upon download, install, configure? If you're clear, please to confirm so that I can move on with the today's session.
Hi, sir. Regarding this Ubuntu software.
Okay.
I don't understand if it has been installed in my system or not.
Ubuntu will not be installed, it will be downloaded.
Yeah,
Ubuntu will be installed.
I just need to confirm.
Ubuntu is ISO file, it's an operating system file that need to be installed top of the VirtualBox.
Okay.
So we will discuss those steps in our upcoming sessions. Yeah. Apart from that, any other questions, anybody?
Keshav, how do we receive the recordings and when do we receive them?
Recordings, you need to talk to our team. They will help you out. Because even I will not have it.
Yeah, I was trying
to talk to them through WhatsApp or email or just call them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Perfect. Let us move on with the today's session. Here we go. Let's close this. Before I do that, I'm just checking one of the things as part of Azure. Yeah, it's clear. Now I'll close this my Azure pages. Here we go. Hello and welcome to AWS DevOps World. I'm Keshu Kumari. We are part of day 2. As part of day 2, we are having a certain way of working here. So in our last session, I created a repository part of GitLab. So GitLab is one of the vendor who's part of version control system, or you can also call it as source code management GUI vendors. As part of VCS or SCM tools, there are many vendors we have. In one of the vendor, we created a repository, and that we call it as online or remote or origin repository. We created a repository. I'll show you that. Here is GitLab account. There is my name. Under this name, I created this repository. This is called a remote repository. And this repository has been cloned onto my local machine using Git software. So we downloaded Git on our Windows operating system, Mac or Linux. Once we install Git software on our operating system, it has 3 advantages. We can interact with the version control system GUI vendors. That is first advantage. Second advantage is you can connect your remote Linux and Unix machines using Git Bash. Third is you can execute Unix type commands on your Windows. So this tool has been downloaded and installed on Windows. Along with that, VS Code, Visual Studio Code also has been downloaded and installed on our Windows. Then we created an account with the GitLab, and I created a repository part of GitLab, and this repository has been cloned onto my local using Git workflow commands. And once we download it, here we have a local repository. From here, this black color bar, you can see local repository. Under local repository, you will have 3 layers here: workspace, staging, local repository. So we'll be working with the Git workflow commands, Git commands, Git space add, or Git space move, or Git space remove, Git space commit, Git space push, fetch it, pull it, cloning. Cloning, once we do it, fetch, pull we do every day, push, if you have any changes onto your local, you push the changes to online. So these commands are new to you. This workflow is new to you. No need to worry. We will be discussing upon this every day. So for now, I'm starting my session. So if I'm starting my session, here is my local repository, and here is my online repo. Here we have day 1. Here also we have day 1 and its content. Before I do anything on the local machine, first I'll execute git space status command to see what is the status of my local branch called main, and what is the status of my remote branch called main, which is available part of here. That is nothing but a GitLab. Then after that, before I start anything, I'll just do a fetch command on daily basis. Before I do anything, fetch only will tell you the changes. Then you have to pull the changes. If you have any changes upon online, that changes need to be pulled by you. Just execute git space pull command. These 2 commands I will execute at start of the day upon my local repository. Same thing you need to follow, but not now. I will explain it later. You don't need to get confused. Now we are starting with the day 2. Get inside the day 2. I created a folder for day 2. I'm going inside of it, and I'm creating a running notes. Here is a day 2. Here is a running notes. Agenda for today is, so what we have learned in our last session is prerequisites. Getting started with skilling and upskilling journey with AWS DevOps. As part of this, I asked you all to execute all of these 8 steps. By now, it is available on your machines. So we'll start with the Linux part. So as part of Linux, before we start anything, we have to work with download, install, configure of Linux distribution onto our VirtualBox. So as part of virtualization technology, we have installed Oracle VirtualBox on our machine. So I will just copy this, and the similar agenda we are following it here. Configure VirtualBox for Linux. As part of this, I have virtualization technology, which is called Oracle VirtualBox. I asked you all to do it. And this one, I'll close this, which we don't need it now. VirtualBox. I have previous configuration. I'll delete this so that it will be clear to you. This is Oracle VirtualBox. Yesterday we downloaded and we installed it on our operating system. So we have Oracle VirtualBox, which is 6.1. Next one is about we downloaded one of the Linux distribution from internet. I asked to download Ubuntu, which is 20.04, or you can go with 18.04 also. And this ISO file I have with me on my machine. On my operating system, I have ISO file. I downloaded it. I'll show you. Then we have to create account with AWS. This is next step. We'll discuss later. And this is also next step. We'll discuss later. But now we are working with Ubuntu distribution. So that means we are going to configure VirtualBox. We'll configure VirtualBox. We follow some steps here. Similar steps we'll be using as part of our AWS as well. So we follow certain steps. So you have to remember all of these steps, what we are executing here. Now open VirtualBox. It's open now. We need to configure it. Go to, let me close and reopen it again. Here we go. And click on new. First part is about name and operating system. Name and operating system selection. System. Fill the information here. So I'm saying this is going to be my first Linux, or whatever you can give any name. It's like Linux hyphen Ubuntu, you can say. This is a name I have given, and here it is storing on my local machine /users username, and there is a folder. Type of operating system. Oracle VirtualBox works with Microsoft Windows, Linux, Solaris, BSD, IBM OS, Mac OS. 1, 2, 3. These are Unix operating systems, and this is a Linux distribution. This is a Mac OS, and this is a Windows. But now we are installing Linux. Under Linux, we have many distributions here. OpenSUSE, Ubuntu, Arch Linux, Debian, Fedora. We have many other distributed at. So we are going with Ubuntu 64-bit because that's what we have downloaded ISO file. This is about first step number 1. Click on continue. Step number 2 is memory selection. Memory selection. So in order to install our operating system, at least we need minimum is 512 MB RAM. So we are going with a 1024 1 GB RAM. Step number 2 is about memory selection. Step number 3 is hard disk. And we selected 1024. This is about hard disk. As part of hard disk, create virtual hard disk now. Okay. Okay. Create virtual hard disk now. After that, type hard disk file type. You need to select create virtual hard disk now. This option you need to be selected, and then you will have next option is hard disk type. Under hard disk type you have 3 options. So we are going with the virtual disk image. So VDI, need to select VDI, and third one is about storage on physical hard disk allocation. Storage on physical hard disk allocation. Dynamically allocated, should be selected as dynamically allocated. Next option is about file locations, the hard disk file location and size. File location and size, this is 10 GB. Click on create. We are done with the step number 1. As part of the steps, first set of configuration is completed. This is about first step of configuration. Next one is about step number 4. We need to go to settings. Under settings, you should go to storage. No, you should go to storage. Settings, storage. Under storage, you have to select controller ID, and there is a DVD symbol. Attribute, click on DVD icon. You need to click on DVD icon. Then choose your disk file. If it doesn't exist here, this is my cache. That means already selected. That's the reason it's showing here. If not, choose a disk file. Then it will take you to the wherever the ISO files are available. Under downloads, you will have your ISO file. Ubuntu 20.041 legacy, 882 MB. Select ISO file. Once ISO file is selected, you just need to click on OK. Step number 4 is completed. Now step number 5. Step number 5 is about network change. Go to settings. You have to go to settings. Under settings, you have to go to network. Under network, you have to change the network. Go to settings. Go to network. Enable network adapter attached to NAT. So change it to bridge adapter. Change it to bridge adapter. You just need to change it to bridge adapter. If you have any questions until this step, please do let me know.
Teja, this is like a very mandatory setup that needs to be done before, start any sort of work, right?
If you don't mind, can you repeat your question again?
Yeah. So this whole thing, the Linux setup is like a mandatory setup that we need to do before actually working on.
Yeah, this is for provisioning of your local Linux machine onto your host machine. Host means your laptop, your desktop.
Okay. Okay.
The machine which you are using now, that's called host machine. On top of the host machine, we are going with one of the technology called virtualization technology. And as part of the virtualization technology, we are going with the Oracle VirtualBox. On top of that, we are installing this.
Okay.
So this is like this. Can give some diagrammatical demonstration upon this as well. So you're setting up your local environment instead of depending on cloud computing vendors. So you're setting up your CI/CD pipeline on your local. This is on your operating system. Then you have Oracle VirtualBox, and you can provision multiple operating systems. And these operating system could be a Windows, Linux, or Unix. Again, if you want to provision more than one, at least one, your host machine, this is your host machine. Your host machine should have, this is your host machine. This host machine should have proper resources, means hard disk, RAM, and CPU should be supportable for this virtualization technology. And that too, you can only provision based on your host machine configuration. So what we are doing now, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so without virtualization, you cannot proceed. So it has to be virtualized, or you cannot perform all these on your host machine directly.
On top of your operating system, your operating system, you must have virtualization software.
Okay.
On top of that, you can go with multiple operating systems like this.
Okay.
Yeah. So for now, upon our Windows, we provisioned VirtualBox. We install it. Now we are configuring our first server. You can call it as Jenkins as well. So let's name it as Jenkins. So as of now, we just configured it. We haven't installed it. We are yet to do that. We need to install this operating system. For the first time, we have to, just you can go on mute. You can go on mute, Sridhar. Thank you. So as of now, we just configured it and we are yet to do an installation. We do it only once. Installation is only once. Installing of operating system on your VirtualBox is only once. We do it. Every time we just start it. The moment you buy a laptop or desktop from a shop, Please
Okay, so
don't
one
unmute
quick question, like
directly. Don't unmute directly. Please let me explain. If you keep on unmute directly, so I lose my what I want to explain. So the moment you go to a shop and buy a laptop or a desktop, the laptop or desktop which comes with nothing, it has only hardware. So the laptop or desktop are associated with one of the OS vendors. If you look at some IBM laptops or Dell laptops, they comes with preloaded operating system of Windows 10, and onto that Windows 10 again you have subcategories like home edition, professional version. So on the physical hardware, a OS is installed. Similar way, on this VirtualBox, we just configured a Ubuntu Linux machine, and we are to install it. For the first time, we install it. The next time onwards, we just run it. We just start and we use it. The way you use your Windows machine, after you buy it from the shop, if it is not loaded, you will load it and you will log into it every time. But you don't install operating system every time. Only once you configure, you install it, then you use it. Similar way, on our Oracle VirtualBox, we configured a Linux distribution called Ubuntu. Similar process, you can also configure a Windows operating system here. I'm a Mac user. I want to use Windows. Then what is the solution? I have to download a ISO file of Windows, the way I downloaded Ubuntu ISO file. And then I need to configure similar structure. And then I need to install it. Same process is applicable, but I cannot download ISO file of Windows because it's a paid version. I have to pay the license, then download it and consume it. For now, we all are Windows users, so we are very familiar with the Windows. That's the reason we are working with Linux operating systems. We are working with the Linux operating systems. Even in real time also, most of our real-time machines are Linux. Majorly our servers, like whatever the content you access now, facebook.com, youtube.com, Instagram, LinkedIn. So all these websites are coming from a Unix or Linux operating systems, not from Windows. Of course, not that mean that they don't have Windows servers. Yes, still they have the Windows servers. So for now, we are going on to our local machine. On that local machine, Oracle VirtualBox, there we configured one operating system. We are yet to install it for the first time. So configuration is completed now. We do installation now. Click on Start button. For me, it says I have some issues with my kernel driver. Even when you start doing this, you get this similar issue. If your virtualization is not enabled on your operating system, virtualization should be enabled. Then you'll be able to install it. And see, until I configured, I have not seen this error. Now I see some error, which says kernel driver not installed. So what I have to do now? I have to take help from Google. I need to check this error over there. Let me quickly check this error. I have this error. This is the error I have it. Kernel driver is not installed. When I try installing of one of the Linux machine on my VirtualBox, I have this issue. Even if you're doing for the Windows, also you see a VT-X issue. VT-X means virtualization should be enabled. I have some answers from a Mac. It says that I have these steps to resolve this issue. I have some error while I'm installing, and part of that I have these issues, and I can provide I can resolve this issue. It says that Mac OS VM error.txt. Even I'll show you for your Windows as well, no worries. First step, I need to execute this command. I can do it right away on the current location itself. It has executed now. I should go to system preferences, security, and privacy. System preferences, security, and privacy. Under security and privacy, I should unlock the security center. After unlocking it, approve the software by Oracle. In Mac, this is how we do it. In Linux, in Windows, it's a different way. In Windows, it will be 8 VTX issue. I'll show you that as well. Here I will get a pop-up window, but now it is not available. And let me do one thing. I will close this and I will reopen it. I'll try to start button, click on start button. Do you see now I'm able to see this option, but I need to go to system preferences. This is my ISO file. Click on start button. Says that failed to open for the session, Virtualization Linux Ubuntu. Here we have this issue. After approving it, I need to execute these commands on my Mac. First command I executed. I'm going with the second command now. And even second command is executed. I'm going with the third command. After this, I need to reboot my machine, which means I'll be back in another 5 minutes. I will close all of this and I will close this. If I log out, I'll just restart my machine and come back to you guys. Let me close all of this. In order to fix this particular issue, I have only this solution. So I need to reboot my. I'm trying to install. Okay. So anyway, I have this issue. I don't want to stuck here. So who has access to your? Who has installed who has installed Oracle VirtualBox? Can anybody share your screen and show me your Oracle VirtualBox with ISO file? You must have ISO file with you. Let me see one thing over here.
Keshav, I installed it. Yeah.
Okay, you have ISO file with you?
Yeah, I do have ISO file with me.
Perfect. Let me grant access to you so that you can share your screen. I will guide you. You just need to do whatever I say.
Sure.
Make a presenter, organizer. No, make a presenter. So I'm granting access to you. You can share your screen. I'll guide you. Go to Oracle VirtualBox and click on New. Just say Linux and select version as Ubuntu. This all I have already explained. Go to the next option. Go to the next. Go to the create. And go to the next option. Yeah, it's correct. And go to the next. 10 GB is fine. Yeah, you can go to create.
Yeah.
Now go to settings. No, it's not created, it's configured.
Yeah.
Configured.
Sorry.
So go to storage. Go to controller ID DVD symbol empty. Select that. Right side you have a DVD symbol. Yeah, please select the DVD symbol. Select ISO file by going to the. Yes, you can do that. Yeah, it's already showing. No, don't click on live. No. Click on OK. Click on OK. Next, go to settings. Now we need to change the bridge network, NAT to bridge. Go to network, NAT to bridge. And okay, you have some issues. Wait a minute. Okay, no worries. This is not that particular issue, but you have to fix your issue, Krishna. Invalid settings detected. You have to Google it. So I don't know which operating system it is. I mean, which make of your hard disk.
Windows 11. Windows 11 now.
Yes, later offline you can detect. You can do a research on this error. Do you see error? This invalid settings detected.
Settings detected. Yeah.
Yeah, that you can do it later. So this is not a challenge for us. Click on cancel.
Okay.
Yeah. Now click on start button. We are installing a Linux distribution of Ubuntu on our Oracle VirtualBox. Yeah, it's loading in another window. Yes, wait a minute, it will just scan an entire ISO file. It will start loading the things. If you want to maximize the screen, what you can do is you can go to devices. No, not that one. Go to devices on this VirtualBox itself. There is a devices. Yes. No, go to view. There is a view of, yes. Full screen mode. Yes. Switch. It's loading now. This is called installation process. Being an administrator, will be doing a download, install, configure of Windows or Linux operating system in real time. Being a DevOps engineer also should do the same, because DevOps engineer is a full stack engineer. He should be working upon everything. Can you hit enter over there? Select the black screen and hit enter.
Okay, sure.
Let's see what you have to just click on capture. You should click on right control and hit enter there. Select your mouse upon the black screen. You get a pop-up window. Read the instructions. You'll understand what to do.
Actually, I'm not able to move that.
Okay. That means just hit enter. If you're not able to move anything, just hit enter. It will take an action. No.
Here I can. No action.
Okay.
I can see the
right
kernel panic.
right side, do you have on your keyboard, right side, you have Alt keyword, Alt key.
Yeah, I have Alt key.
Press that and move your cursor. Press and move your cursor. It will release from the VirtualBox.
No, it's not. Even I tried with
It's not.
Alt. Yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah. Now I got it. 1 second. Yeah.
Read this. No, read this instruction. You'll understand it. If you read this instruction, it will tell you how to work with VirtualBox when you select and deselect or unselect. On your keyboard, there is a right control. Do you see right control on your keyboard? You have to select and deselect in order to switch between your host machine and your virtual machine.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we can just say cancel or whatever you would like to, but use that controls on your keyboard. And
it's not responding, Keshav. I think so.
Okay, then can you minimize the screen? Can you minimize the screen? You have maximized it, right? Can you minimize it? Don't show and capture. Don't show and capture. You have to select. You have to minimize the screen. It has been maximized by us. So we have to minimize and see, look at the things, how we can move forward from here. Are you able to minimize it?
I'm trying it. 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you see on this window, do you see right control, top, bottom right, you have some icons. Yeah. So before that, there is an arrow mark down. See, the moment you go inside of your VirtualBox, it's changing the color. To come out from that, it's changing the color.
Yeah.
Just click on the black screen. Click on the black screen and see that. No, click. Please wait a minute until I say. Can you go inside again? Again, click on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Now you need to click on don't show this message again and say capture. Hit enter now. Hit enter.
Did that?
It's not working. Yeah, it's not working. Then close this. Close this window. Close this. There is some problem. Power off. Power off. Now again, click on start button. Click on start button.
Keshav, it's going into kernel panic. I'm not thinking attempt to fill the ID.
Okay, no worries. I think there is some issue here. Whatever I have experienced so far, I just give you some insights on this. Just give a minute. I'm just trying to check one of the document.
Sure, Keshav.
I'm sharing you one link to everyone in the chat window. Where is chat? Yeah. Here, the clearly whatever I explained, it is also mentioned in this particular website. Can you open that, Krishna? I'll guide you. You can open the link. How to install Ubuntu on VirtualBox. You have clear complete steps over here. Please go through this, everybody, and install a Ubuntu. You can install Ubuntu desktop also. I'm okay with it. Desktop means GUI. I asked to install a server version, but you can also install GUI version. You can download a GUI ISO file, which has 4 GB file, and you can do that. Once you're familiar with the graphical, we'll go with the command line. Please follow these steps and try to, don't give 4 GB RAM. So if you have 16 GB RAM, give 4 GB RAM. If you have 4 GB RAM on your host machine, then just give 2 GB RAM or 1 GB RAM. You have desktop edition, server edition. Server edition means command line, only text mode, and desktop means graphical. You can just follow these steps and install it. In tomorrow's session, I will look at it. Even I'll try to fix my machine issue as well. Download, install, and configure Ubuntu desktop or server version. You can follow this URL and you can do it from your side. Any questions over here, anybody? Krishna, you can go on mute. Krishna.
Keshav, this Sudhir, are we doing on-prem infrastructure setup something?
Yes, similar, like you're right.
Okay. And one more question, is it Oracle VirtualBox is a freeware or the open source, or licensed one in a
It's
real
open
time?
source. It's open source.
And as part of DevOps, do we need to do all these activities, or it will be done by some configuration manager or somebody maybe technical team in the company, on the installation?
It depends on the project to project, organization to organization, based on the budget. Basically, this all should be done by the DevOps engineer, but based on your project. If it's already configured, there is a team is available, they'll do it. If not, given opportunity, you have to do it.
And one more thing, if we are talking about this GitLab, maybe I'm asking more advanced, there will
No
be
issues.
a dev branch or master branch will be there,
Yes,
but in this
we will
one,
be
are
there.
we going to have only one main branch?
No, we will work with the different branches.
No, generally say I work with the Azure, maybe in my company, we'll be having a development branch and the master branch will be there. So maybe I'll be cloning development branch onto my local. So I'll be committing the code and pushing the code to the development branch. So after that, maybe I'll be pushing the code to the master branch also. There will be two main branches will be there in the source, maybe on the Azure. Are we doing the same thing in the what we are say in the GitLab also, or only there will be only one main branch?
No, it's by default, master or main is a branch. After that, one of your team member or in your project, they would have created a develop branch. Similar way, here also we'll work with a develop branch, feature branch, and our own branches. We will create branch, we will delete branch, we'll check into branch, we'll do all this hands on.
Okay.
Yeah, you are working with Azure repos. Whatever the functionality you are doing with Azure repos, similar functionality is applicable
Yeah,
for GitLab.
okay. It will be something, yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll discuss more when advanced.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, thank you all. Let's connect tomorrow. And tomorrow I would like to see this assignment. Everybody should, I'll be asking you to share your screen and show me your VirtualBox. And there I should see one of the Linux machine, maybe two, one graphical server, one is command line, one is like desktop Ubuntu version, one is server version. Please do that. And I'll be looking at tomorrow. This is our first assignment on the day 2. So every day you receive some assignments, you have to do it. I completely understand you guys are busy, occupied with various works, but you have to take out time. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.